I'm certainly not going to suggest to you that GitHub is where you should be editing all of your content. However, it's nice to know that if you need to open up a file and make a quick edit inside your remote repository, that GitHub has those capabilities directly within the site. So here again, I'm in the GitHub Basics remote repository that we've created. We've got two files. We've got the gitignore file that we've created and the README file that we created a little bit earlier. And maybe we decide that we want to add another heading to the README file. So if I click on the README file right over here in Code View, so this tab right here gives us our code view. If I click on the actual file name itself, I get a detailed view of that file. Now, over here on the right-hand side, we have a few options. We can delete the file if we want to get rid of it. We can view its commit history. This is one of my favorite ones. This is blame. If I click on this, what it does is it shows you a list of commits and changes that have been made, and then it shows you the author that made those changes, hence the blame button. So if you're looking for who made a change and you're not happy with it, oftentimes you'll find out it was yourself. In addition to that, we have raw, which just shows you the text file in the browser, and you can copy and paste that somewhere if you want, but it just shows you the raw markdown. We have open, which would open it in the GitHub client that you have installed. And then we have the button that we were looking for, which is edit. Now, if I click on edit, it opens it up in the same editor that we were using earlier. So this is a chance for us to take a closer look at this editor. We have a preview mode. And then we have one of my favorite things. This is called Zen mode. And if you click on Zen mode, everything else kind of just goes away. It becomes very zenful. And you can just begin typing. So maybe I go down to the next line and I type in pound pound because it's going to give me a heading 2. And I might type in something like this really needs another header. And you can use this as an excuse to go in and learn more about Markdown and just kind of come up with a fake frequently asked questions for your repository, that sort of thing, and format it. You can add lists. There's all sorts of really cool things that you can do here. When I'm done with this, I can exit Zen mode, and you can see it comes right back in here. So, of course, you could type in this mode as well. You don't have to go into Zen mode. I just wanted to show that to you. We also have a preview, so you can double check and make sure that that's going to look good. And indeed, my H2 is showing up as a heading 2. Maybe that might be a little too big, though. So if I go back to code, I can add another hash, or octothorpe for those of us who like knowing what it's actually called. And if I preview that again, now that looks a little bit better. I like the balance on that one. So I'm good with that. At any time you decide that maybe you made the wrong choice to edit this file, you could hit cancel. But if the edit is exactly what you want, you can scroll down and commit these changes. Now, I know currently we only have a README Markdown file and a gitignore text file within our directory, but trust me, if you click on this, it'll open up JavaScript files, CSS, HTML, all of those things, and you can do any editing you want directly here within the browser. Do remember, however, that you're editing files on the remote repository. So those changes aren't going to be tracked and committed locally until you pull them down. So that is something to consider too if you're going to be making these changes. So in this case, update README sounds really good. And I'm just going to type in felt like it needed another header. All right, I'm going to commit the change. And if I go back to GitHub Basics, I can see that the README file has indeed updated. Okay, so again, this is not probably where you want to do the bulk of your editing chores for your projects, but it's nice to know that in the remote repository, if we need to make a quick edit to a file, we can certainly do that through using the GitHub site.